So you're pretty handy. You've got some skills and a bucket of tools. But are you really sure how to fix that faucet or repair that hole in the wall? And what would it take to do a remodeling project yourself? If you're unsure, even a little bit, hit the pause button on those projects and take a listen to Contractor John, or you might end up singing the DIY blues. Welcome to the DIY House Medic Podcast. The doctor is in.
Contractor John is in the house. Our weekly visit, a house call by the doctor. Do you remember do you guys remember when doctors actually did house calls? I mean, up to and in the 40s, house calls amounted to about 40% of all doctors' visits. That kind of faded out in the 60s. I remember that when I was a kid, Dr. Brown would come to our house, and I remember he got a twofer when my brother and I were both sick. He'd come and take care of both of us. So the doctor is in doing a virtual house call for you. Today's topic, first time, actually anytime, home buyers. Listen up here. 6 critical questions to ask yourself when you're thinking about embarking on that buying a home journey. So as always, you can access the show notes right here at DIYHouseMedic.com. And if you need anything else, head on over to the ContractorJohn.com world, and that'll direct you wherever you have to go. Say a thank you to Roy Worley from Roy Worley Voiceovers for that intro. If you guys need any kind of voice work, narration, any kind of voice work at all, give Roy a shout, RoyWorleyVO.com, and tell him Contractor John sent you. The link for him, his information too, and website will be in the show notes too. So I hope all you fathers out there had a great Father's Day yesterday. And for those of us that have seen their fathers pass, it's kind of a day of mixed emotions. My dad's been gone 27 years, and I just find that incredible to believe that he's been gone that long. So if you're like me, you can remember every detail about that day that your dad passed. Anyway, let's not get all depressed and everything. So happy Father's Day to everybody, and happy Father's Day, Dad, up there in heaven. So hey, if you guys are working on a project and have questions, hop on over to Contractor John Facebook page and let me know how I can help you with whatever you're struggling with. Or jump on over to Contractor John YouTube channel and watch some of my DIY videos, and I'll give you a hint on how to fix some things around the house. All right, and if you guys stick around to the end of this DIY House Medic episode, I will be giving away a copy of my book, The Dimension Bible for DIYers. That's you guys and remodelers. And here we go. 6 critical questions you want to ask if you're buying a home. We know buying a home is a dream of a whole lot of people, but that whole thing means different things to different people. For some people, it might give you a sense of comfort, a sense of belonging, or to be like part of a neighborhood. Some people, it gives them security, or maybe even a sense of peacefulness. Being part of that American dream that everybody talks about. And for other people, families, it's a place to raise your family, to have your kids and to raise your kids. And for other people, that whole environment brings back memories of when they were growing up. So just a lot of different reasons, and it means different things, different people. So now buying your own home, actually, that whole home buying process is difficult and oftentimes confusing. I'm going to give you 6 questions you need to ask yourself and discuss with your spouse before you buy. Now, let me do this little disclaimer here. Before we get deep into this discussion, I want you to realize I'm going to err on the side of caution. I tend to choose a path that offers flexibility or gives you options, if you want to call it that. Now, the first question you'll want to ask, question number 1, am I ready to own a house? Owning a home comes with a lot of responsibilities and costs. And we're going to talk about the costs associated with purchase later. Plus, there's also costs associated with ongoing maintenance. But what I'm talking about here is asking yourself questions and honestly answering. Okay, you got to be honest with yourself. And honestly answering questions like, am I fiscally responsible? Can I follow a budget? Am I an impulsive spender? Am I able to perform normal home maintenance tasks? And is my job stable and conducive to home ownership? Basic questions you want to ask yourself. The last one, the job stable. Have you been there for a while? Are you going to be there for a while? Is your job, is there a chance you're going to get transferred out of state or whatever? So buying a home right now would be a bad thing. So just kind of think through that stuff, right? Now, I've got to add, Dave Ramsey has a great course to help manage finances called Financial Peace University. And he also has some great home buying information. I'm going to put a link to that page of Dave Ramsey's in the show notes. So question number 2. How much home can you afford? Now, this could be a tricky question to answer, but the best answer, and again, I'm going to err a little bit on the side of caution, seems to be about 25% of your net income. That is net. Now, that's after taxes. Now, the lenders will typically calculate using your gross salary numbers, and they'll go somewhere between 25 and 30% as a safe zone, and anything approaching 35, and I've heard of some even going up to 38, 39%. That's what I consider to be like a danger zone. You need to have some flexibility if other household costs unexpectedly increase, or maybe one person loses your job. It still would be manageable if you keep that mortgage payment around 25%. So now I differ here because I'm going to tell you should obtain a 30-year mortgage, and I know a lot of advisors say no, get a 15 because you're going to pay a whole lot less interest, and I get that. And here's my take on that. If you get a 30-year mortgage, this is going to keep your payment low in case something happens, but it's still going to allow you the flexibility of the prepayment of principal, and you're going to decrease that loan length to make it shorter, and you're going to reduce the interest dollars you're spending. So again, it just gives you some kind of flexibility, and you can work with it. Now, go back to the following set of questions. Are you fiscally responsible? Can you follow a budget? If you're both working and you're earning extra money, then make half a payment, 1.5 payments. Make 2 payments every time if you can afford it. And then that'll shorten the mortgage time. But you got to be disciplined to do that. So just something to think about too. So, all right, next question. What are the purchase costs? All right, there can be significant costs involved in getting your loan and securing it. You've got down payments, you've got loan fees, you've got moving expenses, you may have utility deposits, credit counseling. I mean, if your credit's not that great right now and you go in for a mortgage and you have to clean up your credit a little bit and stuff, there may be a cost involved to take care of that. So that's just naming a few of the challenges. So now, one word about loan fees, specifically those loan origination fees and or points. You ready? Listen to me. Do not pay them. You can do better than that. Shop around for a better loan program. You should not be paying points. All right? They'll trick you and they'll get you, buy down the percentage rate with a point. That's all they're doing is getting their interest. That point is just juice money up front. That's all they're doing is getting that juice money up front, that interest. So don't do that. Shop around and look for a better loan package. Now, next question. What are ongoing home ownership costs? There's going to be ongoing maintenance that's required on your home, okay? Unless it's brand new. And even then, you'll probably want to add some things that you didn't pay the builder for that you want to do, a fence, landscaping, that kind of stuff. Just be aware of that. Now, most of the systems in the house have life expectancies that you can that you'll come up against during the time you own that house, right? Now, depending on the age of the house when you purchase it, you can reasonably expect to be replacing things throughout the ownership. So a couple examples of that. Shingle roofs typically last 15 to 30 years. Water heaters, 10 years. So think about this. If you're buying a home that's 12 years oldish, 10 to 12 years old, when you do your home inspection or you walk through the house, check out the age of the water tank. If it's just been replaced, okay, cool. But if it's not been replaced and it's the original one, you can pretty well expect that you're going to have to be replaced in the next year or two. So kind of look at it like that too, all right? Garage door openers, expectancy 10 to 15 years. Now, furnace and air conditioning, two different components, but typically 15 to 18 years you'll get that out of a unit. And you really don't want to go longer than that because of the energy efficiency. I mean, they've come so far in being much more efficient now than they were even 10 years ago. It's not going to pay for the cost of a new furnace and air conditioner, but you will save money every month by going with a new energy efficient one. Faucets. Faucets typically last 20 years. Now, I've not seen a kitchen faucet last 20 years, honestly. At least you're going to have to replace the cartridge in that. They just get used so much that I just don't see them lasting that long. But NAHB has this great resource that's available online that I really strongly encourage you to review. It's called The Study of Life Expectancy of House Components. And it's a PDF, and I've got a link for it in the show notes too. So it breaks down systems of your home. It talks a little bit about life expectancy overall, but then it breaks down individual components of your home and gives you life expectancy on that. And I mean, it really breaks stuff down. It's pretty detailed and everything. So at least take a look at that, and it'll help you kind of plan for home ownership, because it is about planning. You're going to have to think about when you go through the house and you're looking at the house and you know the house is 12 years old or 15 years old, kind of paste that up against the chart and look what you could expect to change in that time range, and even the 20-year time range. And then every year kind of budget money to be replacing something. You may not know exactly what it is, but look at that expectancy chart. You know you're going to have to be replacing something, so you're going to have to budget for that. Next question. What are my lifestyle needs? Now, we talked about a needs and wants list a few weeks back in a podcast, and I'm going to ask you to do that again. All right, and here's a few things that could be a want or a need, depending on your individual situation. Now, close to public transportation, is that a want or a need? Depends, okay? Do you have one car and you use public transportation to get to a job? Could be a need, or it could be I just want to do that. It'd be easier for me to get to work or whatever. Access to area expressways. Maybe you're a salesperson and you've got a multi-state territory and you've got to go, I'm in Illinois, so you got to go to Wisconsin, you got to go to Iowa, you got to go to Indiana, so you want to be close to expressways and the interchanges and stuff. So area restaurants, a lot of people like that hustle and bustle of that. Shopping, same thing. Schools, where are you going to live, and how is it for elementary schools, for middle school, and for high schools? What the ages of your kids, if you just start a family out and stuff? Is this where you want to raise your kids and have them go to that school? Okay, and then you might want to think, are you going to close to family? Now, that may be a want or a need, or you may want to be away from your family. So close to family, think babysitters, grandma and grandpa taking care of the newborn and stuff like that. So close to your church, close to parks and those types of things. You may want an extra bedroom in the house for an office. That may be a need, because this whole environment we're in now with the COVID thing and stuff, a lot of people are working from home and they need office space, or you may just have a home business, or you just may want an office. So look for that too, want or need, depending on your personal situation. Laundry room on bedroom level. If you've got a ranch and the laundry room's down the basement and you bought a ranch because you've got bad knees and up and down stairs, you got arthritis or whatever, it doesn't do a whole lot of good to have that washer and dryer down the basement. So that may turn into a need or just a want. Big backyard for the kids to play, fenced yard, let the dog out, that kind of stuff too. So you're just going to have to go through that list of things and determine for you if it's a need or it's a want. Okay? And then use that when you're buying your home, when you're talking to your realtor. And one other thing here, you might also want to take a test drive. If you find a house that you like, get up extra early in the morning, drive to that house, and then from that house, drive to your job and see at that time of day what traffic is like and how long it takes you, and then drive home to it too, like it was your home before you buy it. So you'll see what it's like to drive back and forth from what could be your new home. If you're looking at homes during the week and stuff, go by the new home, drive in a neighborhood on the weekends, in the evenings, during the daytime, and see your neighborhood in different times of the day and different days of the week. That's going to be an important thing to do. So next question here. What are my long-range goals? Now, this question pretty much asks you to look inside that, or in that crystal ball, and foretell your future. And you got to kind of do this a little bit. So if this is where you want to start your family and raise your children, so we talked about earlier, close to local schools, are the local schools where you want your kids to go to school, or you want them to attend? You got to kind of forecast that. If you'll be starting a family, does this house have the necessary bedrooms and space to start that family? Or how fast are you going to outgrow this? Maybe you're in a situation where you're going to be a caretaker of one of your parents, and what if you had to move them in with your family? Is there enough space? Now, I'm not saying to buy a house with the whole extra bedroom and just leave it sit there all these years, but is there room in a basement, a second floor bonus room over the garage or something or whatever? Is there room to expand if, at reasonable cost, if that becomes an issue? So kind of think that through. So the more planning you do, the better off you're going to be. So, and now all these above questions that we're kind of going through, they're by no means all inclusive. All right. Hopefully what they do is they get you started in the right direction, and they kind of push you to ask yourself the hard questions, and be honest with your answers to yourself. This isn't a test. Nobody's going to see them and stuff, but be honest when you're answering these questions before you sign on a dotted line. Mortgage the house, okay, and not your future. Now, if you guys know me, I'm holding my hand up right now, 5 fingers. Remember the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Do that process, and you'll be glad you did. And as I promised, it's giveaway time. And I love old movies. So this week, we're going to have some movie trivia. So the question for the day is, who drank raw eggs before their morning run in this series of movies? All right. Who drank raw eggs before their morning run in this series of movies? Be the first person to post the answer to the Contractor John Facebook page, and I'm going to mail out to you a copy of my book, The Dimension Bible for DIYers and Remodelers. And if you want a complete yearly home maintenance checklist, jump on over to ContractorJohn.com. Follow me, and I'm going to send you that yearly home maintenance checklist absolutely free. And if you want to watch some DIY videos, head over to Contractor John YouTube channel and make sure that you click that subscribe button if you find the videos useful, and hit the like button too. I really, really do appreciate it. So, all right, boys and girls, that's all for this episode. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining Contractor John here at DIYHousemedic.com. If you have comments or questions, please visit the Contractor John Facebook page. And for everything else, visit ContractorJohn.com.